established sub-offices we have established 209 sub-offices. Let me talk about the legal framework that regulate birth registration and at the same time enhance child protection. We have Section 35B and C of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which states that all Zimbabwean citizens are entitled to vital civil registration documents, and these include birth certificates. We also have Section 81 of the same Constitution, which provides that every child has the right to the prompt provision of a birth certificate. So besides what is in the Constitution about the prompt provision of the birth certificate, the UNCRC Article 7 also states that every child has the right to be registered immediately after birth. So I'm also happy to say that the law that governs our operations, the principal law that governs our operation, which is the Births and Deaths Registration Act, also provides for compulsory registration of births of any person that occurs in Zimbabwe. Births are supposed to be notified within 42 days from the date of birth. So births are not just supposed to be registered or notified, but there is a prescribed period that is supposed to be notified. So I've often heard people saying that birth confirmation records expire. I think they mistake this provision that births are supposed to be notified and registered within 42 days of occurrence of that event, and not that birth confirmation records expire. So failure to notify births within the stipulated time frame, which is 42 days, is actually an offense in accordance with Section 27 of the Births and Deaths Registration Act. So this actually shows that the Births and Deaths Registration Act was crafted in a way that it supports or enhances child protection, as births are supposed to be registered within 42 days of occurrence. Birth registration is important because it provides legal identity and also recognition. So a birth certificate gives a child an official state recognized identity and makes them visible to the government. So without a birth certificate, the child remains invisible to the government. Birth registration also enables access to basic services and rights, such as education. Without a birth certificate, some children can face difficulties being enrolled in schools, although schools actually, some schools allow children to be enrolled without birth certificates, but it is a prerequisite that children are supposed to be having birth certificate for them to be enrolled in schools. So without legal identity, children can be excluded from social safety nets and also formal employment later in life. Without a form of identity, you cannot get formal employment. You can't also open a bank account or even an EcoCash account or have inheritance. It also enables protection from exploitation and abuse. So with a birth certificate, children have a documented age, which then helps to prevent or help determine the age of that child in cases where there's child labor or forced marriages or early marriages, because there will be proof of age, and those cases will not be difficult to solve. Birth registration also offer protection under justice system. So if a child come into contact or conflict with the law, having proof of age actually ensures that they are treated as minors and not adults. Birth registration also offer future opportunities and rights as adults. So without a birth certificate, you can't obtain a national identity document, you can't obtain passports, you can't own property, or even exercise political rights. It also enables or informs policy and development planning. So the data from birth registration helps government to collect reliable demographic data to plan for education, health, and other services. It also helps monitor SDG targets. For example, SDG 16.9, legal identity for all, including birth registration by 2030. For the challenges that we face in birth registration, there is low timely birth registration. Remember, I said births are supposed to be registered within a stipulated time frame of 42 days, but most births are not registered within that stipulated time frame. So we have what are called late or delayed birth registration. So late registrations are registrations that are done after the period that is stipulated by the Act, but within the grace period that is also provided by the Births and Deaths Registration Act, and this is typically 1 year. So late registrations are registrations that are done within 1 year of the occurrence of the birth. But delayed registrations now are all registrations that are done after the lapse of the 1 year period. So you can actually see that from the statistics, current registrations in 2023 were only 2%, meaning that registrations that are being done within the stipulated time frame of 42 days are only 2%, which is just a drop in the ocean. Then in 2024, the percentage is still low, but it's 5.7%. So it's still low, the percentage is still low. So for late registrations, they were 19.5% in 2023, and in 2024, they were 33.9%. And for the delayed registrations now, they accounted for 78.5%, which is the larger proportion of births that were registered in 2023. And for 2024, it was 60.4%. Then we also have the challenge of incomplete registration, and this is mostly in rural areas where some vital events remain unregistered. So it actually results in invisible lives. So people are born and die without being registered. Then registry offices are not fully computerized. We have, remember I said we have 10 provincial offices, all of them are computerized. The 63 district offices, all of them are computerized, but the bigger proportion of the sub-offices are not yet computerized. The other challenge is limited public awareness. So from the statistics, you can actually see that people out there do not know that births are supposed to be registered. They do not know that it is compulsory to register births, and they are supposed to be registered within 42 days. So there's limited awareness on the importance of registration and the legal requirement to register within the stipulated time frames. There is also a challenge of long distances to registration centers. So when we conducted the country assessment on civil registration and vital statistics system, we established that there are clients who are still traveling long distances of up to 80 kilometers to get to the nearest registration office. Clients are also incurring costs of transporting witnesses to registration offices. So this is mainly for births that occur at home, that occur in communities. So for these births, witnesses are actually supposed to appear before an officer, a registration officer, so that the registration is effected. So clients are incurring costs, not only of transporting witnesses, they have to buy them food, or maybe they're actually charged of the services by the witnesses. There are also cultural barriers where traditional practices and beliefs may hinder registration efforts. So in as much as the Civil Registry Department is making efforts to improve civil registration, we might find out that some people remain unregistered because of these barriers. For example, the law does allow for registration of children by their mothers when the fathers refuse to acknowledge paternity. But in some communities, you might hear them saying that the women actually have to seek for permission to use that maiden surname for them to obtain the birth certificates for their children. Now on the strategies to improve birth registration, we are continuously establishing sub-offices. We are now at 209 and the process is still ongoing. We are also in the process of computerizing our sub-offices, and so far we've managed to computerize 20 sub-offices with the support from UNICEF. We are also raising awareness on the importance of registration and also the legal requirement to register. And in that respect, we are partnering with traditional leaders, that is villages, so that they help us to increase awareness or on registration, and also the need to register within the stipulated timeframes. We have also partnered with the media. We have Radio Zimbabwe. We partnered with Radio Zimbabwe last year, and we are featuring on that platform to talk about birth registration or even all the civil registration services that we offer as a department. We also issue birth certificates at no cost for children under the age of 5. Of course, they would have committed an offense by not acquiring the birth certificates for their children within the stipulated time frame, but still, we don't charge them. So after the age of 6 years, that's when they start paying for the late registration fee, which is after the age of 6 years. Then we also conduct national mobile registration exercises, and these ones we periodically conduct them. And now our focus has shifted a bit. We are now conducting what are called targeted mobile registration exercises, where we are targeting hard to reach areas or areas that have those people with financial, those people who live far away from registration offices, and the cost of traveling to the registration offices is huge. So last year we managed to do 23 targeted mobile registration exercises, and this year we did one in Binga and the other one in Budiriro, and these two were supported by the government of Zimbabwe. So maybe you might be wondering why Budiriro, because I've talked about the hard to reach areas. So in Budiriro, it was for the Marange Apostolic Sect. They often do their annual conventions in Budiriro. So we then deploy a mobile registration team to register births and offer other civil registration services there. One in Mbire was supported by World Vision. We also conducted mobile registrations in Mutasa, Bohera, Mangwe, Gokwe North, and Mudzi. And these ones were supported by UNICEF. We are also implementing active notification for community births and deaths program. And this is where traditional leaders, mainly village heads, are issuing birth confirmation records for children born at home. So this notification form is actually almost the same as that one, the birth confirmation records for children who are born in hospitals. So these two serve the same purpose. So as you are aware, the nurses do not come to our offices to witness the registrations when they issue the birth confirmation record. So the same applies with this one, the active notification form for community births. The village head is supposed to complete the notification form, and the witness signs the form. Then the parents are supposed to take that birth confirmation record and come to our offices for registration, thereby removing the financial burden of having to transport witnesses to the registration centers. We also collaborate with the Department of Social Development in registering children in need of care and protection. So DSD is responsible for completing the notice of birth forms and then forwards them to registration. Recommendations: we need to expand registration centers. Like I said, our clients are still traveling long distances to reach the nearest registration center. So there is need to keep on decentralizing or establishing sub-offices. There's also need to increase targeted mobile registration exercises. And also to modernize the civil registration system